like 2 days later, I went to see a friend, and opposite that room, I saw somebody dancing, and the person was dancing so well. Remember, I like to dance.
Yeah.
So I was like, my goodness, but I couldn't recognize the song.
Yeah.
So after a while, I got up, I went to meet the person. I was like, hey, what song were you just dancing to? You know, he was like, oh, Out of Eden. I was like, what's Out of Eden? I was like, oh, it's a gospel song. I was like, there are gospel songs like that? And he was like, yeah. He said, actually, I'm in a dance group. I was like, you're in a dance group? Gospel? He said yes. I was like, can I join? He was like, can you dance? I said, yes. He played the song, dance. Hey, see me winding my waist. I was like, not this kind of dance. It's like, it's not this kind of Shakira. I said, boy, I can learn. Just give me a chance. I can learn.
You went with your Shakira.
Look, I was waiting for this brother in the Lord. He looked at me and said, hey, this kind of marine spirit. I said, true, just be a can. He said, it's not the type we're looking for.
Yes. Turn it down.
Yes, you have to, sister, keep the waist in one place. This is not the manner of dance we need.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, please, I can
Keep your
learn.
waist.
Just let's be still.
Yeah.
So I said, but I can learn. Teach me. He said, okay, come for our dance.
Oh, Apostle.
Come for our dance.
You will not finish me on my program. You said I can learn.
Yeah. So he said, oh, yeah, come. Yeah. That's how I went. And I joined this dance group. It's called Flames of His Spirit. And I dragged my friend along.
Yeah.
We joined. And I met young people, vibrant for God, you know, dancing for God. Before every dance rehearsal, we will pray. And I'm looking around like, this has been here. And I was busy going for parties.
Isn't that what the devil does to young people?
Do you understand?
Lies to you. There is no joy in church.
You get.
And that's where it's at.
Do you get? So I started learning songs again, Christian songs again, because when we worship, I realized I didn't know most of the songs.
Yeah.
I was 5 years behind.
Yes.
So I started learning to sing again, you know. So that's how I joined this group. And we will host like outreaches to people. You know, we'll do dance presentations and then say, do you want to give your life to Christ? Go to universities. It was interesting, but God then took me away from that school like a year after that.
Right.
You know, gave me a couple of months and then took me to Ghana. University of Ghana.
You went to Ghana?
Yes.
Right.
So that was when another phase started. You know, went to Ghana, met this pastor, this church that was radical. And you know, Ghana, there's something about the atmosphere in that country. It cultivates intercession and the prophetic.
Yeah. Most of them are prophets.
Yes, most of them are prophets. It's there. It's
the culture?
Yes, it's wired into the spiritual DNA of Ghana. Yes. So it's a major prophetic gate for Africa, just as Nigerians are apostolic, Ghanaians are prophetic, you know. So it's hardwired into the DNA of the land, the people, the spiritual tribe. So God sending me to Ghana was God's way of developing the prophetic on the inside of me through the spirit of intercession, you know. So I went there and when I met this pastor, even though he was a Nigerian pastor, but he was in Ghana, you know, starting the university, the fellowship on the campus. You know, I joined and he would take us to pray for hours. I remember when he was cultivating us in leadership, we'll go to the mountains, we'll start praying from like 8 p.m. and we'll come down to like 8 a.m. And you dare not sleep.
Night.
Yes. No chair. It's not this one that you're doing vigil with chair. For what? You tell you suspend all biological activities. Yes.
Suspend it?
Yes, you suspend it to pray. And then while you are there praying, when it's like 2 a.m. and you're like, kerebe, he will say, you cannot pray. If Catherine Kuhlman travailed in prayer, Archbishop Benson in the house travailed in prayer, you will travail. And that boy will start to shout, Lord, help me. Look, I prayed, Bishop.
If you try to take it down.
No, you can't take it down. Like sometimes you just, maybe at 11 p.m. say, you see, take over. And then I won't see this man till like 4 a.m. So that's
from
when,
11?
Yes, that's when I learned prayer points is not needed. All those ones, now prayer point number 2, no, there's a point you get to where prayer becomes the point. You just be praying.
Prayer is the point.
Yes, prayer is the point. Just because how many prayer points do you want to give for a meeting you did not prepare for? You did not know you were going to lead it, and then you have to push it for 6 hours. So I just learned to, and you don't know when he's coming back. He cannot meet you not praying. Yes, so that's how I learned to pray. When we had prayer meetings were like 5 hours minimum. Yeah. So prayer meetings, we used to pray like every other day. We have prayer meetings every other day. We start at 7, push it to 12. That was how we prayed. You know, so I learned how to pray. And every morning we're up at 4 a.m. to pray.
So the way my friends tell me Ghana is not, they don't joke with prayer.
No joke.
They say, and if you joke, the witches will come for
no
you.
joke.
Eh?
No joke.
Eh?
Everybody's on fire now. You can't.
You push.
Yes.
Otherwise, the other side will come and pull you quickly.
Absolutely. So for my room, every night you will hear people in prayer. Hey, I'm here. Like prayer. People are praying till 6 a.m. Students. And I tell people that I feel like there's something really powerful about finding God in university.
Yeah.
I think like people who hit it when they were like 19, 18, 21, it's always different.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always so.
It's true. Even now, it's true. When
Yeah.
you get younger people, they're really sold out.
Yes.
Yeah, sold out.
Yes.
That's all they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we chased God with all our strength. And I got ordained in that church when I was, I think, 20 or 21. So we did like the whole pastoral training program, and he trained us and all of that. When I was to be ordained, that was one major turning point in my life.
Yes.
The day of the ordination, after we've called everybody, ordination, bought fine suits, you know, I was so proud of myself.
Yes.
Alas.
Hey, there's an alas. Yo.
And me and my best friend were to get ordained on that day. And that's how this man called my best friend up, called everybody else up, but he didn't call me. So this was me, Sister ISI, with my suit that had shoulder pad. You understand? With my spiritual arrogance. Because I was about to ascend to the next level. Yes. So, waiting to be called, and this man did not call me.
What do you mean he didn't call you?
He didn't call me.
Hey.
All my friends had come, family, everybody. I sat there. I thought, you know, my own is going to be more powerful.
Of course, he's waiting. He's giving it a chance.
Exactly.
So that there's a separation.
That's right.
Between levels.
That's right.
Of course.
Yes. So I was waiting, and the service closed. They shared the grace. No Sister ISI coming up for her ordination. I said, so I joined my friends. They were taking pictures. I was forcing a smile. I was like, what happened? What happened? What happened? I said, no, it's okay.
They're asking you.
Yes, I said, fear did not allow me to ask the man because he's a very strong pastor, hard man.
You didn't ask anything?
Yes, I didn't know how to ask him.
Yes, you didn't ask anything?
I didn't know how to ask.
What do you mean?
I didn't know how to ask. So later that night, I was crying. I went to my room. Shame wanted to kill me. I cried. I was like, what is the meaning of this? And then later that evening, he came with the assistant pastor. And when I opened, he said, what have you been doing? I said, sir, nothing. You've been crying. This is the reason why you were not ordained. I said, how? He said, your arrogance, your pride. He said, you consider it a thing of promotion instead of service. You consider it a thing of this instead of that. I sat down. My mind, I said, but it's promotion now. How is it not promotion? This man finished me. And he said that, you know, he listened to the conversation I was having the day before with a friend about my ordination. And that as he listened to me, all he could hear was pride. You know, and he said, this one is not ready. He said, you need to go on a fast. I think he put me on 30-day or 40-day fast. He said, you need to crucify your flesh.
Crucify the flesh?
Yes. He said, you are gifted, you are anointed, you are talented.
But pride.
He said, but you need to die.
Hey.
Bishop.
Hey.
That thing killed me.
Hey. Hey. See God.
So
see how God operates.
As at that time, I thought this is a wicked man. I thought this man is from the pit. I was like, I'm leaving this church. Nonsense. How can you disgrace me like this? My family members were calling me, how far did your ordination go? All my friends, I had to start calling my friends pastor. Meanwhile, I was like, no. And honestly, I was gifted, you know. And I thought, if anybody should be ordained, I should be ordained.
The others should follow.
You know?
Yes.
But he was right. So I started fasting, praying.
Hey, you followed the instructions.
I followed.
So you were not angry at him and telling me there are many people who can ordain people.
No.
Hey.
I couldn't. I stayed and I was fasting the fast, but I was so ashamed. I was so heartbroken. But in my heart, I didn't think I was proud. You know, I was like, what is this die to self? You know, what is this thing? I was like, so is there nothing wrong with enjoying the fact that, you know, something good was about to happen?
Yes.
You know, I cried. And one of those nights, I stayed up all night. I was reading the Bible. I said, God, you will show me. This thing, it must be inside your word.
You will show me.
I said, show me.
Yeah.
What am I missing? I brought out my concordance. I brought out my Dake's Bible. Brought my journals. I will write. I was looking for how Jesus chose his disciples. What were the instructions he gave? I said, blessed are the poor in spirit. I was like, what does it mean to be poor, Lord? I prayed. And around 7 a.m., I was praying. And I was so tired. And I put my head on my concordance. While I was praying, I was like, Lord Jesus, please tell me what I need to know. And as soon as I put my head on my concordance, I started feeling light. I I was like, what is this feeling? Why am I feeling light? And I opened my eyes. I opened my eyes, and I was on the ceiling.
What do you mean?
Yes. I looked, and I saw my body on the bed. I was like, wait a minute. Did I just die? Did I just die? Because I'm looking at me with my head on my concordance while I am all the way up. And I was like, did I just die? Did I just die? So while I'm panicking, I was like, I'm going to hit the ceiling. I'm going to hit the ceiling. And boom, I appeared somewhere else again. This time I'm on this field. It's a huge field. And then there are people lined up on the field. Thousands upon thousands of people. And everybody's working. So some people had pickaxes, some people had hoe, some people had shovel, but everybody was working. They were working quickly. And I'm like, what's going on? Where am I? And the next thing, boom, I'm just joined to the queue. And the next thing, more people are coming and they are being joined after me. And as soon as I'm joined to the queue, I was given like this instrument, agricultural instrument, and I started using it and I'm digging. I was like, so I looked at the man beside me. I was like, sir, where are we? This man did not answer me. He was just doing his work. You know, I was like, okay, what are we doing here? He kept facing his work. So while that's happening, I looked up and I noticed that the sky started swirling, the clouds. And I was like, what's going on? So I told him, I was like, sir, can you look at the clouds? This man did not answer me. I want to meet him when I get to heaven. The man did not answer me at all. And I looked at the clouds again. The next thing I saw lights entering the clouds. I was like, where are these lights shooting out from? And I looked and it was people on the fields. They were turning to lights and they were shooting into the clouds. And I was like, oh my God, this is rapture. I was like, they are being taken to heaven, you know. So I looked at him, I said, sir, they are going. We are still here, they are going. While I said they are going, boom, he turned into a light and he was taking, I said,
You're
my own is finished.
Yeah.
I've first of all left my body somewhere. I'm here now, they are not taking me. You know. So while I was there, I was like, Lord, please don't leave me. The next thing, boom, I felt myself ascending. And then I entered into the clouds. And the clouds, I remember falling off, fours, my hands on the ground, my knees kneeling down position, but the clouds underneath me were solid. And I'm in that position. I'm like, where am I? What's going on? The next thing I felt this presence. I felt this presence, you know, just right there. And something lifted me up to my feet and turned me around. As soon as I looked, I knew it was Jesus. And I was like, Jesus, Jesus. And it was as though the person had known since I was a child. He was right there standing in front of me. People are like, and that was like, now started a series of encounters I've had throughout my life. Wow. That was the first time I ever saw him. And over the course of my lifetime, I've seen him at least 10 times. Which now I realize is part of the marks of the apostolic, because an apostle needs to be a witness of Christ. You need to have witnessed Jesus, you know. So I stood and I was like, Jesus, Jesus. And he just smiled, you know, and he did this. I can't remember using my leg to run, but I know I ran to him and I fell into his arms. And as I fell into his arms, what did I start doing? I started reporting everybody. Yeah? I said, Jesus, you don't believe what they've been doing to me. I said, Jesus, you don't believe what they've done. I said, this man did not ordain me. He was supposed to ordain me. After I said, disgrace me. I said, look at now. I started reporting.
Oh my God.
He just pulled me away from himself. He looked at me like, this is my child. He looked at me, you know, and
oh my God.
he gave me a kiss on my forehead. He gave me a kiss on my forehead. Yeah. As he gave me the kiss on my forehead, I just melted. I said, Lord, you see, this is the reason why I want to stay with you. Only you are worthy. Only. And then he smiled, looked at me again, like,
this is well.
like, what? You don't know anything.
Yes.
And then he shook his head. He shook his head and smiled. And he held my shoulders and started turning me around. And I was like, no, don't turn me around, don't turn me around.
Yeah,
I want to tell you something. I want to stay. He just turned me around and bam, hit my back. And as soon as he tapped my back, I got up from my bed. And I saw my roommate sitting and looking at me like this. And I said, I saw him. I was shaking and I was crying. I was like, I saw him. She was like, you saw who? She said, I came here because I wanted to wake you up. She said, Isi, it is 4 p.m. You've been on this same position since 7 a.m. I was afraid that something had happened to you. I was like, no, it can't be 4 p.m. You know, and that's also when I understood that, you know how 1,000 years to us is a day to the Lord. So 10 hours to us, for me, was a 5-minute encounter.
With God.
With God, you know. And she was like, who did you see? I was like, I saw Jesus. And I was weeping. But that encounter solidified the knowledge of the fact.
It gives me goosebumps. I like, oh my gosh.
Oh no, I've had crazy encounters, Bishop. Crazy encounters. And most times I don't share them because it's just like, you know, what do you do with that? You know. But that encounter solidified the knowledge of the fact that I'm called by God. I woke up feeling chosen. I woke up feeling like he knows me. And so ordination didn't matter. I then realized that it's God that ordains. Men only bear witness to God's ordination. You know, I didn't feel like I needed it anymore. I was just like, I've met Master. You know, I've met your Master's Master. You know, so.
Wow. So it didn't matter anymore.
It didn't matter.
You weren't in pain. You weren't crying anymore. It's okay. It's
I was just like, I'm fine.
You don't have to.
I'm just going to serve him. And it left me craving for that atmosphere of love, of like just the perfection of his goodness, just the acceptance. I wanted to be in that presence again and again and again. So I would do the same thing I did again and again and again. I'll just stay with the word for hours, hoping that it will happen. Or it didn't happen like that again. It took years. But it just cultivated a hunger for the person of Jesus.
So did you now see what the man of God was saying?
Oh yeah, I did.
That he was actually right to not ordain you because he didn't want you to walk in pride.
Yes.
As an ordained minister.
Yes. And that pride was coming from, you know how the flesh makes you think like you're justified by works? So there was a part of me that felt like I should be.
I do so much.
Yes, I've been leading prayer meetings, I've been this.
I'm a leader.
I knew Bible studies, I was an orator, I was a this, you know, and...
It's me they asked to speak at all times.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, so I was being saved from something. I was being saved from that which endangers people in ministry, where you feel like the validation of your service is in the acceptance of men.
Hey.
I was being saved from that. And so very early, God was delivering me from that deception.
Yeah.
And telling me that, Isi, you are accepted because I accepted
you.
So even if 1,000 people tell you you are not called, if you can see me, feel me, touch me, hear me, be satisfied with my presence, not with the need to prove yourself. So it killed on the inside of me that drama and that whole thing in ministry where you like have to do this for people to know I'm powerful.
People to see you.
So I'm like, no, my greatest power is being able to see Jesus.
Hey.
That became my greatest power.
That brings tears to my
Oh. So till today I'm like, if I can't see Jesus, if I can't feel Jesus, it doesn't matter who I'm sitting before. It doesn't matter who calls me. It doesn't even matter. I just feel like it's like sawdust in my mouth. Yeah. I'm just like...
It's about Jesus.
It's about Jesus. It's about Jesus.
So it introduced you to another level of who you are in God.
Who I was in God, yeah. Introduced me to a new level.
Wow. So how long did you stay in Ghana? Did you now
I was in Ghana for 5 years, 5.5, 6 years. So there I started churches, I started the fellowship, then I started to train pastors.
In Ghana?
Yes.
Oh.
You know, so I then became the resident pastor of that church eventually, you know, and then I had to do like...
Where you were not ordained?
Yes. So finally ordained. I was then finally ordained by him like months later, you know, and, you know, it was so powerful. Many of the prophecies they gave to me are prophecies I'm still working in right now. And I then started like to teach, train, raise pastors. I started to host like camp meetings where I would bring people from the Nigerian church and bring them to Ghana, you know. So that's when I started learning how to do like international work in coordinating things across borders and planning across nations, you know, logistics and all. So I think I eventually left Ghana when I was 25 because at 24 I met my husband.
Hey,
so it was the reason why I left Ghana.
You can't just rush like that, you know. You met him in Ghana?
No.
You met him in Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria?
So, yes. I had gone to Nigeria for a wedding.
Yeah. When you were now 24?
Yes. So my mom, no, actually I met him at 23.
Yeah.
And he married me at 25, I think. So my mom was to have a wedding thing she was attending in Lagos because she was living in Benin. And so I remember being on the phone with her and she was like, oh, I'm going to Lagos. I was like, oh, she said this person's wedding. Then she started reporting one of her friends to me. And she was like, can you believe this person was supposed to go with me for the wedding? We had bought our ashwabi together. She just called me last minute that she's not coming. All these people. And she was just on the phone. And I heard the Lord say, go and surprise her. Go with her for the wedding. You know, so she was like, no, I'm going alone. And I said, Mommy, it's okay now. Sometimes you can go to some places alone.
Yeah.
But I planned. So I went to the mall. That day, I bought this lovely fabric. I went to the tailor. I was like, make this style for me. Let it be long. You know, and truth is, in Ghana, I died, Lady Bishop. Like, I died.
To self.
Look, I died.
Yeah.
Lady Bishop.
It was no longer you.
No longer me. In truth. But Christ that was at work in me. There were many things I no longer had interest in.
The minis.
Oh no, nothing. Mini what? No.
You bought enough material.
Yes, enough material. Yeah. You know, so I was I was just like chasing Jesus. Even my lecturers used to call me Osofumami, which is female pastor. That's what they call it in Ghana.
Yeah.
Like I was all about God, winning souls, chasing people, bringing people to the kingdom, cultivating people, doing leadership training. I studied geology, but it was more like I was in Pastoral Institute, you know. So by the time I was going to this shop to get fabrics and telling the tailor, do the style, make the style, it was all like me. But there was just something inside of me that felt like I wanted to look like a queen. I wanted to look feminine, you know. Plus, there was one brother that was spiritual. We're not dating. You know how spiritual people do it. We don't date.
Yes.
We don't date. We just admire ourselves in the spirit.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Praise God.
Hey, we don't date.
No, we don't date. We don't date. That's for carnal people.
Of course.
Yes. So that's very...
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's a very spiritual brother in Nigeria. But I had hopes. And I believed that this was the one. And we connected. You understand? Revelation, we're matching each other's revelation.
Everything was just,
you know, and
prayer life was...
Yes, and it was very brilliant, very smart, very intellectual, which is my thing also, you know, because I was also very like into, I'm still very into like books, science, everything. Yeah. You know, so I thought this was the one, surely. So I read this whole outfit, went to Nigeria. Yes. My mom was like, oh my God, you're here. And I was like, I'm going with you. She was like, you're coming with me for the wedding, you know. And I went with her the next day looking so good. As soon as we walked into the venue, this man will not let me. One man, this is not the brother I was hoping to go and see after the wedding.
Of course.
This one is a strange man, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He walked up to me. How are you? How are you doing? Oh, what's your name? My name is Bobby. I was like, so? In my mind, I was like, your name is Bobby.
Yeah.
You cannot be a serious person. What happened to, you know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do you understand? Peter, Silas. You know, what's a Bobby?
A name that,
you know, a name that carries weight. Yeah. You know, so I was just like, I beg. And in my mind, I was like, oh, these Lagos boys, please. He will not let me rest throughout the wedding.
This Bobby man.
He was following me up and down to go and get food. Let me carry your plate for you. I was like, oh my God, I was so irritated. And so by the time we were leaving, he was like, please, I really need your number. And I said, okay, no problem. So I took his phone and I put my mother's number in the phone. My mind, I was like, when you call and you hear an old woman say hello,
you will get manners.
Stop. Yes. So I left the venue. Of course, from venue now, I went for dinner with the person who I believe that Shandi Kababala.
This is the man.
Sweet Jesus.
Intellectual.
I thought that surely this is the day where those of us...
Look good?
Lady Bishop, Kaliva, Sangregedi, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 packs.
This is everything 6.
666. I should have known it was an antichrist mission. Oh my God.